Hello and welcome back to the harbour for our level 3 episode of Trials of the Tempest. Purple is sitting here on this random pile of boxes. So I knew he couldn't get away from boxes for too long. Sunning himself in front of the Founder's Fountain. Been doing okay in the harbour quests, obviously on Elite, not Reaper. For a lot of the quests where there are overwhelming numbers, I do my best to either block up a doorway and use the cat scratch whenever it comes off cooldown for the AoE damage, and or just back into a corner, as Wagon once suggested, to not leave myself open to being surrounded and have flanking and sneak attacks and that kind of stuff going against us. And broadly speaking, on Elite that's gone well. The self-healing from the Potions of Cure series is more than adequate to keep us up in almost every situation, so that's been good. Feet at level 3, I went with Dodge. It's going to be nice for us anyway, because we're never going to be wearing more than light armor, I wouldn't think. So we're going to be able to have quite a high dodge score. But also it's a prerequisite for some of the nicer special attacks later on. You might remember, if you saw the monk life, we ended up with Whirlwind AoE attack, and I would definitely like to have that again, and perhaps also try the spring attack, for which dodge and mobility are also prerequisites. From what I can understand, it's like a dash forward. Maybe we could even use it in lieu of the wings ability that we seem to like a lot, to get around the battlefield and dodge in and out of nasty situations. I look forward to having a look at that, if it's possible to include it in our feats. I'm not following a build here, by the way. I'm just I've done my reading around as to what might constitute a half decent build, and the consensus seemed to be max Tempest, 20 odd in Deepwood, and then the rest to as you see fit. So I'm going to try the rest in the Horizon Walker for the trans, and we're pretty much going to go with the flow. Gear wise, I've added a few things that should hopefully help us a little bit. Bottle of smoke for some concealment, especially nice in Elite, because that's not nerfed by being in Reaper. What else did we put in? The Skullduggery cap, the stats on there don't particularly make any odds for us, although Wisdom is our casting stat for a Ranger. So we're going to need a minimum of something just to be able to cast the spells. The big one I found was this one, the Duelist's Epée, which we were discussing the keen and the improved critical. You can see this one has a 15 to 20 crit chance, whereas the standard ethereal one from Borderlands, it's only an 18 to 20. So I've put that one in the main hand, thinking it's going to see more action than the offhand one, and I have seen a noticeable increase in our damage output, so that's nice. Speaking of which, I haven't even yet put on our pièce de résistance, the dex to damage with rapier in the tabaxi tree. So this will be the first quest I will have done where we will have access to this this bonus. I'm guessing now if we look on there we can see, yep, dex to damage as well. So I'm hoping, given the difference between our strength and dex, that we will see quite a nice little boost up there in damage. What else was I going to say? I experimented. Well, I needed to take something anyway to boost us up here. There's an extension here to the cat scratch. Now hamstrings opponents for 3 seconds, reducing movement by 50%. I don't see anything go off. You know, like when an archer shoots you and you get that little sound and the sort of slashing uh, effect that goes above you and on the buff bar. I don't see anything like this going on the opponents, and I'm not noticing anything too much. So either it's just me being not observant, or it's not triggering like it should. But be that as it may, I hope and believe we're going to see some benefit from the Dexter damage here. I am having to remind myself to repair, because unlike the monk life, we don't have the benefit of the force imbue from the Fade Arc tree on our weaponry. So must remember to repair things. And undead continue to be a thorn in our side. I could and probably should have just carried a couple of swapping single-handed clubs or light mace or whatever it happens to be, just so we don't get tripped up by the damage reduction the undead have against both zombies and skeletons. We are finding we were doing 0 damage with the standard hits, and the only way to get them was either a Colour of the Queen trigger, a crit, or more likely the ruby imbues that we have on our weapons. I thought for today's one we could have a go at the Dirk the Deranged quest in the harbour, because you might recall I was after a second Muckbane, which would two Muckbanes would have been a reasonable swapping for undead, I think. Even one actually might have been a better bet than just flailing away with 2 useless rapiers. So yes, Dirk's got a secret, because it's the place where the Muckbane can drop. So we're going to try and see if the optional ooze is there, and if we might get lucky enough to have a Muckbane from it. If we survive that long, of course. Okay, run out of potions of heroism, not a good start. But our saves are, well, at least 2 of them are pretty reasonable anyway. You can't complain at reflex and fortitude there, can you? And the will isn't terrible, so maybe potions of heroism are slightly overkill at the moment, I don't know. Death Ward just in case the famine shows his head. Now I need to remember to swap, if there's a Reaper, to the ethereal rapiers.
You wish all these bones were a little cleaner.
So straight away I hope we're going to see a decent improvement here. Oh, there's a Reaper. Okay, swapping. My word, he's taking some hammer, isn't he? Now we're in trouble. Okay, swap back. That looked pretty good. Now he could really hurt us. Yeah, it's nice. So we're getting more crits more often, and the damage is significantly more, I think you'll agree. Okay, I'm pretty sure there's going to be ooze in here as well. Oh no. Okay, let's try and make sure there's only one at once to deal with, because these are going to be rough. Dual wielding Muckbanes would have been so much nicer than this painful experience, especially against the standard ooze. There's a lesser ooze that doesn't quite take all this to bring down. I was trying to wait until the healing nerf had worn off. I think we'll keep the club in our hand because I think there's going to be some more ooze. Are there? Yes, okay, one at a time please people. Oh no, there's a second one coming. And we do have the cat scratch we can go with for some AoE. That looked like our Colours of the Queen triggering there. It didn't do too much, did it? Okay. I have a feeling there might be more ooze than just them. There's an argument for saying I should have used a cookie on those. I tend to try and save the cookies for life-threatening situations.
The floors, walls, and
Yeah, more ooze, okay. Two more. At least that's a lesser one. Oh crikey, look at all this. I'll get rid of the lesser one first, I think. Yeah, these standard ones are just absolutely painful, aren't they, for us? Okay. Now, if that warrior's visible, does that mean we won't get proper healing? Oh no, okay. I think we'd better re-trigger the little buffs. Now, come and test your metal against us. Well, that's more like it, isn't it? Scything through there. So, note to self to... Is that a Reaper over there? Oh, crud. Are we actually going that way? Maybe not straight away. Note to self to run the salt marsh, because it comes from one of the salt marsh quests. That was the cat scratch. Did you see that? Nice AoE. So that's a definite thing to lean on. I'll be trying to lure them to this doorway if possible. I think that was a one shot. Happy days. Come on then, if you're coming. And once I've got them in the doorway, cat scratch to get the nice AoE in. That was another Colours of the Queen trigger, but it seems like that particular effect doesn't do anything. There are some very sort of over the top visual effects, like a thing that comes down almost looking like a flame strike that doesn't seem to do anything at all, you know, damage wise, which is a bit disappointing. Right, now I guess we've got to go. Oh, there's a thing to open here, is there? I think. I guess we've got to go and face that Reaper now. And it was a famine. Where was it? Oh, it's round there, okay. Could we maybe tempt it to come to us so we don't have to go and face it in all that rubbish? Oh, we're missing it incorporeal. Right, there we go, we hit it. Get the Reaper weapons on. Come on then, let's have you. Go on, hit him. Yes, yes. I'll take that. Yeah, because we've triggered that thing now. We're not getting full healing, are we? I think we've got something behind us as well, so we could do with... Yeah, there's noticeably more damage going in now, which is great. Now we do have, I think it's, it's a +2 to saves versus traps as well from the tabaxi tree. So yeah, not too bad there. No, I couldn't put fire shield. We don't have the level or the UMD for it yet. So again, we're going to try and block up this
The
door.
bulging chest in this room could only belong to one of the kobold brothers you heard
Cat
so many
scratch.
secrets about.
I don't really want.
The first of the kobold.
I've completed the quest at least. I was just going to say I don't really want Shaman firing at me from distance. We don't see a Shaman here. Right, there should be a chest in here somewhere. He said, hopefully. And then we'll go and see if our old friend Muck is there. Now, can I remember where I'm supposed to go to try and find him? I think it's down here. We're obviously going to need, if he is there. I don't think he is. I think when you're approaching this door, it would have said, and he is actually sitting in this corner here. And if you're really lucky, you can get the Muckbane to drop. Sadly, not the case for us this time. I have had a little look on the auction house, but no joy there either. There was a Muck Doom, I think, which... Is that the one that comes from the pit? Is that right? Just a sort of an upgraded version and available from level 6, I think. But it was on for double figures in shards, and me being a bit of a spendthrift with the shards, I didn't see that as a worthwhile buy. Okay, I think that about wraps it up for this one. So we failed in our quest to get the Muckbane, surprise, surprise. Anything I set out to do, like that shuriken in the monk life, doesn't seem to bear fruit, does it? But we did at least. I mean, that was Reaper, and we weren't carving things up, but neither were we being completely blasted there, were we? So I think we're beginning to see some signs of progress. Certainly the new weapon, the Duelist's épée, is helping. And I think between the Tabaxi hit and damage dex and that rapier we've got now, that should see us hopefully on the right lines towards level 6 and a respec into the... where am I? Into the Tempest tree, because then we'll be going scimitars and we'll be having dex to hit and damage for them from our Tempest cores, as well as the super tasty haste boost, which we'll be able to trigger whenever any Reaperage pops up. So I'm looking forward to that. Okay, I think that about does it now. Thanks very much as always for looking, and we'll speak to you in the next one. Take care.